Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Welcome everyone to the Jewish Voice. I'm Cantor Rochelle Nelson in Miami, Florida at Temple Beth Am. We're thrilled for all of those who are able to listen tonight from both on Zoom and your computers and all the different ways in which you can. And I have a really exciting guest that I want to introduce you to. This woman she does it all. So she comes to us, I think, born in Brooklyn, which I'll ask her a little bit more in a moment. She's a songwriter, an activist, a rocker, an educator, an incredible personality. She's involved in all kinds of different Jewish movements, organizations, musical theater type programs, which I'm going to have her tell you about. She has a band. Now, I don't know if this is old or new. It says half Israeli, half American band. And her music spans an edgy pop rock all the way to the meditative, soulful song. She is wonderful and a one of a kind. I am so excited to have her on tonight, Naomi Less. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
It took me a second to get in there. Hello, Rochelle. How are you?
How are you, Naomi?
We're down south.
Oh my gosh. What a time we're living in, isn't it?
We could be anywhere in the world because we're all stuck in our houses.
Right, exactly. This has become my vacation resort, home, office, and anything else you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did hear there is one, I want to make one small correction. I was not born in Brooklyn.
Oh, it said, in this thing, it said all the way from Brooklyn, New York. Maybe it was talking about where
I've been here for a long time, but I actually am a Chicagoan.
Oh, you're a Chicago girl. Yes. All right, Chicago. I'm sure there's people out there listening that are from Chicago. Chicago. So, Naomi, we've known each other for a long time and we've shared some very intimate conversations and so forth. But I would love you to start by sharing with us about your younger years, where you grew up, what influenced you, and just kind of take it away, and I'll bother you and interrupt you once in a while.
Oh, great. Please interrupt away.
Okay.
Well, let's see. I liken my life to sort of, I think many people had this life as well too, but I had kind of like parallel tracks happening from the get-go. I always sang. I was always involved in like musical theater and singing, and took piano lessons and violin and the whole musical journey. Choirs in high school, and toured with my choir. And then I had this other life that was my Jewish life, which I was also, excuse the background noise. There's a toddler in the house. So I always loved Jewish life. I was very involved. My parents were very involved I grew up in a big conservative shul synagogue in Highland Park, Illinois. And I must have been there like 3 days a week. And I was probably in the principal's office more than I was in the classroom.
2 out of 3 days like me?
More. But here's the beautiful symmetry of the story, is that I did have the opportunity to tell my Hebrew school principal and the associate that worked there too, that I became a Jewish educator. And I feel like when you have troublemakers, you bring them close in, you keep them close, yes. And then you can help them transform their lives and use that energy for good. And so I think that's what happened. So I credit both of them. So I had these parallel tracks, never to intertwine. I went to camp, like every story you've ever heard of Jewish musicians, but I went to a camp that did not have like a tradition of song leading at all. It was in those days. I went to Camp Ramah. Actually went to Azrui for 2 years, which I fell in love with the whole guitar and services, and like it was just so amazing.
Whole kumbaya thing.
Oh, completely. And it actually helped me a lot because I was really homesick and we used to I grew up I grew up with three records that were basically my like cool rock records that my mom would allow me to listen to, and they were Barry Manilow, Neil Diamond, and Debbie Friedman. so
Oh, I love it.
So I grew up listening, even though I didn't grow up in the foreign movement, I grew up listening to Debbie Friedman and making up dance routines for our Shabbat dinners. And when I got to camp, they were playing a lot of Debbie Friedman there. So it actually was very soothing for me. It was like the music of my home.
Yes.
But growing up at Ramah, we just sang and banged on tables with like Zmirot and Nigunim and all in Hebrew and everything. So I grew up with this like real love of like deep Jewish music that was from way back from the tradition. And it wasn't really until two things happened. Number
Okay.
one is the Indigo Girls showed up on the scene, and they and I fell in love with their music immediately and was obsessed. I became obsessed. And I don't know how you were obsessed without the internet back then, but I was obsessed and had every record of theirs. And I was sitting in my Hebrew high school class and we were learning about a parsha, that a Torah portion that had to do with Aaron's sons Nadav and Avihu bringing forth a strange fire. And immediately, I'm out to lunch in my class typically, and immediately my ears like perked up. Strange fire. That's my favorite Indigo Girls song. And that all of a sudden like blew my mind. Like, wait a second. I ran home and I looked at the lyrics, and sure enough, there were like references. They were biblical references. And I found out that they were students of Bible, that they grew up in like deeply seeped biblical homes. One of their parents was a preacher. And it like was an epiphany. It was like, wait a second. You can be like a musician and put like connect your religion with the music you're writing. So I think those were the seeds that were going to converge my lives.
Yes.
And then later on, it was I really didn't write my first truly Jewish song. I had a band in New York City many years later, played all the clubs, Bleecker Street. It's you've been there a million times, I'm
You
sure.
ever at the bottom line?
Of course.
Right next to
May it rest
HEC,
in peace.
right?
Is it not?
Oh,
I don't think
how
it's
many
all.
years? I wonder how many years it's been going. It was right next to my school.
I think so many of those clubs closed, and a lot of the stuff moved from like Bleecker Street area to like Williamsburg or in
Right.
Brooklyn, other places. So a lot of it got moved. But like Bitter End, Lion's Den,
Mm.
BB's, like all of that stuff. That was sort of my zone and my scene, but totally like in a secular context. And then I started to fold in Jewish themes into the music I was writing with my band, which was called
Mhm.
Les Nessman. It's a reference to WKRP in Cincinnati for those of you who know that show from back in the day. And yeah, and I started seeping in Jewish music into it. Those that knew, it was like Hamevin Yavin. Those who knew, but if you didn't know, it was just felt sort of spiritual.
Right.
And then at a certain point, I met Glenn Grossman, my partner, my husband, but we started working together and writing together, and he basically held up a mirror to me and said, I was working in the field of Jewish camp at that time at the Foundation for Jewish Camp. I was like hiring all these Jewish musicians. I was getting to know the field. I was looking out there, and there were not a lot of, when I was coming up, there were not a lot of Jewish touring female musicians going to the camps.
Wow.
It's like this weird generation in between.
Yes.
You had Julie and Perry and people like that, but then there was like this gap. And
Right.
all the people who were touring were male. And I was like, what is this about? And Glenn basically held up the mirror and said, well, why don't you do this? Like, you love Judaism, you love performing with your band. Why are you like, you could do this?
Mhm.
And it was somebody from the outside. Glenn was not really involved at all in this world. And he basically was my Yitro. He was sort of like my
Wow.
Jefferson. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And we wrote our first song together and wrote a whole album of material. And that was sort of like my coming out as an official Jewish musician, even though I feel like I
Oh,
was one.
incredible.
Yeah,
I wish you were here right now because as I'm listening to you, it's pouring outside and rain in Miami is beautiful. I
that's
wish
awesome.
you were here to see it.
It's beautiful.
Well,
And rain in my
Naomi,
is like that kind of like it comes down and then it like leaves, right? It's like
yes, but
a little moment.
first of all, you were talking about, your parallel lives, which reminded me so much of my own, because I
Really?
had I was the a cappella choir president, and we sang church music and da, 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 and then there was my Jewish world. But then
Yeah.
while you were doing that, we got a big, like long thunder. And then the rain started trickling as you got more into in the meeting of your partner and you're getting married. And I hear there's a beautiful little girl in this picture too.
There is. She's actually in that picture right behind me.
Maybe at the end you can bring her and we can see her punim if she's not asleep.
She hates Zoom.
Oh,
She
then forget it.
she rarely will come on here, but maybe we'll get
Well,
lucky.
we can try. All right, before we go on any further, I know everybody is eagerly waiting to hear you sing. So sing something. But
Okay.
don't sing the song that you were asked of Susan Linder because we'll save that for the end.
Oh, okay. I was going to do that because I felt this moment of gratitude coming up
Oh,
of
okay.
just
Well, if you feel
moment of rain, but I won't.
all
I'm
right,
going to do something different.
if you feel that way, I'll bring her on now. You see, for the audience out there, Susan Linder is this incredible. I don't know how to explain it. Naomi, she's a
Force.
light. She's
She's
a
like a
light.
light and a force of good in the world and just
It's
shines
all in this one
wherever
person.
she goes. And
Right. All she wants to do is make you smile. She wants to make you feel loved.
yeah,
And she spreads her love of her Jewish music to children all over the world. And and Naomi and I are lucky enough to be able to call her our friend. So Susan seems to know everybody in the music world
oh
and
God.
loves everyone. So I'm going to bring her on so she can enjoy being with us. Let me get her on. I'm going to get her on. I got to get her onto FaceTime. Let me hang up and do that one more time. I'll call her on FaceTime. So Susan Linder. All right. So for the audience out there, for those of you that don't know Susan Linder, this is Susan Linder.
Hi, sis.
And Naomi's going to open with a song that you requested, which is called. You're welcome.
Okay, Sue, this is for you. And Rochelle, I thought about this because when you were talking about just the rain all of a sudden pausing, stopping our conversation and noting that the gorgeous rain was coming down in this moment.
That's right.
Those moments of
Cleaning
gratitude that
cleaning the earth.
these moments pass by without even noticing.
So true.
This is what the song's about, really stopping and noticing those moments of gratitude that you have.
Wonderful.
For the way that I breathe, for the loves in my life, for the wind in my sail, for the strength from my strife, for the lesson I still need, the ones I have learned, for the gift of a hug and respect I have earned. Woke up today simply to say I give my thanks to you. It sounds like nothing, but for me it's something. Please hear from me. You're bringing back my soul. Oh, oh. For the mornings that bring sweet escape from the night, for our phone calls from St. Paul at first morning light, for a meeting by chance, and for plans with my friends, for a nuzzle, a deep look, for holding my hand. Woke up today simply to say I give my thanks to you. It sounds like nothing, but for me it's something. Please hear from me. You're bringing back my soul. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. For our inside jokes that last all these years, for our riotous laughter that brings me to tears, for delays on the train, for a random path home, for a smile from a stranger. Even under a mask, you can see somebody smiling with their eyes. Would it feel so alone? Oh, oh. Moda ani lefanecha. I give my thanks to you. Shehechazarta, shehechazarta bi nishmati. You're bringing back my soul. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. Oh, oh.
Yay, that's wonderful.
I don't know if you can hear squeals coming out of that room behind me, but
Put you over.
that was really fun. What did you say, Sue?
I said, yay!
Yay!
I'm trying to find a place to sit, Susan. Susan, we're gonna have to get something built for my computer so you can sit like this. I'm telling you,
Thursday night, do it with you.
she's on with almost every single show because she knows everybody and they all are thrilled to say hi to her. So she's part of the act now. All right, Susan. People are only going to see a little of your head for a moment, but you're there. All right. Tell us, Naomi, what Lab Shul is, what you do with that.
Oh, okay. So aside from touring and writing Jewish music and all that kind of, educational consulting, that whole edutainer, spiritual musician and resident and higher kind of life, right? Whatever that whole thing is. I am, it goes back a little bit before LabShul. I am a founding company member of an organization that was called Storytelling. And it was a ritual theater. Hold on one second. I'm just going to remind them that I'm.
That's okay. Susie, do you like being where you are are you cool here?
Either one. It's great.
You can hear her fine, right?
I can hear you.
Okay,
So
baby. And she can look at you.
Okay. I see her at the top of her head.
Oh, yeah. Let me think. All right. I'll just kind of lean her up this way a little bit.
So Storytelling was a Jewish ritual theater company, and the idea was to take this ancient text of Torah and to retranslate it in the context of like an actual Torah service with live interpreted translation, with theater, with music. And I was one of the founders of that group, that collaborative organization.
I never knew that.
It's true. And other people who were very involved in that. And then at a certain point, we were labbing with the Torah service, and then we started extending beyond that and labbing, kind of experimenting with ritual and with services, with worship, with holidays and events. And next thing you know, we have like hundreds of people that are coming to our high holy days and to different events we're doing. And it started to smell like a community. And so we ended up transitioning, I don't even know how many years ago already. It must be like 9 at this point.
At least.
10, 11, 12, we kind of transitioned into Lab Shul, which was exactly as it sounded. It was a laboratory for what it means to reckon with and wrestle with and embrace and create joyous Jewish gatherings, sacred gatherings. We were pop-up. We were always driven by artistry. And really that art of translation is really at the core of what we do. So I'm one of the founders and one of the founding ritual leaders at Lab Shul. So you'll see me at different kinds of worship events. I'm also the associate director, and I do a lot of work with our multi-faith partners and different kinds of program design. It's really exciting. And I train all of our trainers that work with we call them personal trainers that work with our B'nai Mitzvah students. We call it B Mitzvah, gender friendly.
Wow. So you really became a shul.
We became a shul, but it ain't your typical like bricks and mortar kind of situation.
Right.
And that was before the pandemic, that was before it was popular.
Is there a prayer book or is it just all?
It's such a great question, Rochelle, because we are constantly, the translations that we write all of our own translations, and the translations we use are what we call God optional and everybody friendly. And so the idea here is that the word God and all of the baggage that comes with it often gets in the way of people connecting to spirit, connecting to soul, connecting to divine presence in the world, or however they understand it. So we keep the Hebrew basically intact. I mean, we use ruach instead of melech, which is, we didn't create that. That came out of the renewal
I prefer that
movement.
anyway.
I mean, it's less hierarchical, it's less
Exactly.
gendered, uh, and it's less, the relationship is less hierarchical, right? But most of the Hebrew stays intact, but the translations are all poetic metaphors
Wow.
that really
You
get
have
to the essence.
something? Do you have something that you wrote from that came out of your lab show?
Well, I did. I wrote an opening to the Torah service. I actually wrote a Torah service suite with Matt Check, who's an amazing bluegrass musician. And we wrote three pieces. One was from the paragraph Be'ah Narachetz, which is part of the Torah service, and it says Tiftach libi be'oraita, b'tashlim mishalim delibai, like open my heart to wisdom. Translate wisdom, right? And let my heart's wishes be fulfilled.
Beautiful.
Um,
I did listen to something, an Eitz Chaim that you did,
so
and
we wrote that with that. That was part of our circuit, and then we wrote like a processional, which is a hakafa song, which is really
oh,
fun, based off of a passage in Deuteronomy that says "Kitvu lachem et hashira hazot," write for yourself, this song, and so
beautiful.
kind of claiming Torah, right? So
Yes.
this is Tiftach Libi, and
Okay.
can be done slowly or upbeat. Like a beautiful nigun that's just kind of easy to pick up.
Oh, it's
Going, the
beautiful.
Torah goes around.
Oh, it's beautiful. I
Thank
love
you.
it. So,
Thank you. And I
so
actually did a mashup of it. I don't know if you've heard of the Rainbow Gathering, but there are folks that gather around spirit and the earth, and a lot of pagan amazing rituals. And they have
right.
a song called "We Are Opening." It goes, "We are opening, we are opening," and then the words are, "We are opening up to the sweet surrender of the luminous love light of the world." So we've been singing that at Lab Shul and at Storytelling for years and years, and we love that song. And so
Wow.
Yiftach Levi actually mashes up. We are opening. We are opening.
Sorry.
Yiftach Levi. All right. So it's like, forming content and connecting
Wow.
with
That's
different
wonderful.
energies.
So before COVID,
Yes.
BC,
Oh my
right?
God.
BC.
It's
I know.
true.
Can you believe it?
I didn't
BC.
even think about that.
Me either until just this moment.
You
So
did it.
BC, COVID, BC before COVID, you you were traveling, you were entertaining, you were teaching, you were
Yeah.
with Lab Shul. What else? How about PJ Library? And
Yeah, so some of my music is on PJ Library. The song "Thank You" that Susan requested is on the
wow.
radio. Um, I mean, I have a hybrid because I do a bunch of different, I have skills in a bunch of different areas. So I often do like educational consulting. I have a sweet spot for teens and preteens. So I do a lot of work around resilience and I do a lot of work with girls. Uh, so workshops, different kinds of spiritual practices. I do a lot of teaching for educators on how to teach to teens and preteens and using different kinds of practices, whether they're spiritual practices or storytelling to engage in different ways of engaging with the Torah. Um,
You're also
and
very much an activist. What? Tell me about
I
that.
am an activist. So there's a couple of things that I'm very passionate about. Uh, everybody is an activist. I just want to say that for the record. I'm a huge, I'm a feminist, and I'm a huge believer in amplifying women's voices. And you'll see I have a shirt on. I don't know if you can read it.
Better women.
Believe
It,
women.
it
We
flashed
will
off.
make. We will actually make America
Make
great.
America great.
Believe
Amen.
women. We will
Yeah.
actually make America
Yeah.
great.
We don't need to make America great again. We just need to make it great.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be nice.
So I do a lot of work with raising women's voices. I have a show on Jewish Rock Radio called Jewish Women Rock, and that's on twice a week on Sundays and Wednesdays on JewishRockRadio.com. And
Wow.
I feature different women each episode. It's really amazing because one of the things, and Michelle, I think you'll probably like agree with this, is that there is this kind of feeling sometimes in the music world in general and sometimes in the Jewish music world that like there's maybe less so for cantors now, but in the kind of like entertainment show world, like women are, it's almost like there's a token spot, and
Still,
it's evolved, but we end up feeling like we have to be pit against each other. And the message I'm trying to give out to the world is there's enough space for everybody, and that we need to be raising each other up, lifting each other up, like very Michelle Obama-esque in that sense.
yes.
Um, the other thing I'm very, very passionate about is I had, and Susan knows this because she was actually part of this story. Yeah, she's nodding. See, I had a 7-year fertility journey, and it was name any adjective. It was brutal. It was amazing. It was hilarious. It was sad. It was exhausting. It was financially crippling. It was lonely. It was anxiety provoking. It brought up resentment and jealousy. I had to stop doing baby namings because I couldn't handle it anymore.
Oh.
It was really, really hard. It was physically like put my
I
body
went.
through.
I went through that too.
And so that's part of this, Rochelle, is that I don't think people talk about it a lot. And in the Jewish community, when I started going through this struggle, I decided, because I'm open and because I like to, I don't like to suffer alone.
Right.
I kind
Exactly.
of I kind of put it out there that this is what I'm going through, and kind of came out with my story around fertility challenges. And next thing you know, I was inundated with people being like, I'm going through this too. You're talking, thank you for sharing. I feel like I can't share. I feel so. And in the Jewish community, there's this like added pressure of peru urvu, like that the first
Absolutely.
commandment of the Torah is like procreate, procreate, procreate.
Right.
So the first thing people ask you is, do you have kids? And it's really, and the programming is all centered around family programming in synagogues, and JCCs. And so people who are really struggling are struggling oftentimes invisibly. So I got involved with an organization called Uprooted, a Jewish response to fertility journeys, and do a lot of advocacy for them. We do a lot of spiritual work and healing work in this process to let people know that they're not alone. And we ended up getting funding to create a performance piece called Trimester, Jewish Fertility Journeys Out
Wow.
Loud. And so, together with the Inheritance Project, with my friend John Adam Ross and myself and Dahlia Davis, who's a choreographer, we put together, it's about a 50-minute touring performance piece that kind of activates this topic in a way
Wow.
that anybody can tap in, with a lot of universal themes around struggle and not knowing where your story is headed, and but also building empathy and using it as a catalyst to bring up this conversation in the Jewish community and to give more funding, resources, and support to people who are struggling.
You're so creative. You're so wonderful. My gosh, the things you're doing.
Well,
Incredible.
I just this I just told Charlie Kramer this actually for his radio show, but I'm going to tell it to you too because my father passed away June 3rd.
I'm so
I,
sorry.
I'm in mourning right now,
Oh my
and
goodness.
that's him right there. I don't know if you can see him.
Oh, I'm so terribly sorry.
Yes. And so, thank you. And so in his memory, in his name, I will share that I am wired this way. Like, I don't know any other way to be than like I hear something and I need to get involved. I need to help that somebody says something to me. I need to help them with that piece. It's just, and I end up getting engaged. And the problem is that I then spread super thin. So my
Yeah.
dad used to say to me since high school, and I'd come home crying because I had this test and that, and this after school activity, and this Hebrew school thing, and this thing, and whatever. I overcommitted myself completely. And he would say, Naomi, trim your branches so that your trunk will grow stronger. And I carry that with me, of course,
Wow.
rejecting it at every turn, but still knowing that like I do need to practice the art of saying no. I can't be everything to everybody. I can't do everything. It's a hard skill, and it's something that is that's my life journey challenge. It's like how to say no.
Yes.
And so I carry him with me in that sense, that saying
Um,
no means that the trunk is going to grow stronger.
May his memory be a beautiful blessing always for you.
Thank you.
He must have been quite a guy.
He was a he was a big Cub fan.
Uh-huh.
And I have to say, he just was really, I think he and my mom both had situations where they had parents who sort of directed their lives. You're going to do this. You're not going to do this. My mom was a, concert level pianist.
Wow.
She went to music school, and my grandmother made her switch to education because
Ah,
you can't make a career
you-
out of that.
right.
My dad was an incredible basketball player, and my grandpa made him come home and work at his shop, and it was just like
Right.
all
And
these
yeah, I
touches.
know it well. My dad was a really gifted writer and he won poetry contests, but his father told him to become a lawyer so he'd make a living.
Exactly, exactly. And so I think the pendulum swung the other way with my parents, and they just supported anything my brother and sister and I wanted to
Oh,
do.
that's wonderful.
So they like I was gonna do this weird career with like music and Jewish stuff and and camp and blah, 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 whatever. It's like he was so proud of me. He was so, and he always told me he was proud of me, and I just I carry that with me. So
Oh, beautiful. Sing us something, Naomi.
okay.
Take a breath and sing.
Well, I'm gonna sing a song that's built off of Hashkivenu.
Okay.
And it's called One Simple Thing, and it connects to what we were talking about that feeling those anxious and panicked moments. I wrote this in a hotel room when I was just having a full on panic attack.
It's amazing you
Somewhere
could
at a
write. I
gig.
can't write during a panic attack.
Well, the joke is that I grabbed my Siddur and I just like opened it and I looked at Hashkivenu and I started like going deep into Hashkivenu. I'm like, oh my God, the person who wrote this, like the liturgist, the Paitan, they were going through a panic attack too.
Yes.
Look at all the things that they wrote down in this prayer. And like,
Right.
I just like, oh my God, may you be protected from like
Yes.
adversaries and like terrible things happening to you at night. And
And
you
Satan.
it's Satan, right? So I kind of like had the audacity to say, do I have the audacity to ask the divine, wherever that force is, whatever it is, like I just please help me go to sleep, please, please. And then I sort of challenged myself, like, do I have the audacity to ask for that one simple thing? Well, it really is just one simple thing, but so many people have so much worse than I do. So it was this conversation, and out came this song.
Beautiful.
Won't you lay us down, Hashkivenu, 'cause we all need some time. Won't you lay us down, Hashkivenu, 'cause everything is in line. Yeah. Oh, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 Sometimes when it's late, I lie sleepless and I'm turning, and I can't stop myself thinking about things in my way. And it's hard to see just when this emptiness has set in, and my mind wants what it sees. Do you hear me when I say, won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, 'cause we all need some time. Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, 'cause everything is in line. Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, so I don't lose my mind. Won't you comfort me? Can't you see it's what I need, so I can fall asleep? Oh, yeah. Seems my life, this part's for you, Rochelle.
Okay.
Seems my life could go so many ways. Don't choose just one, and I can't be so sure. And this road has just begun. Oh, I wanna see it clearly. I want this night to be done. Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, 'cause we all need some time. Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, 'cause everything is in line. Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, so I don't lose my mind. We ask for many things, and here's an easy question. In a world of needs, I'm asking for one simple thing. Is it too much? When's the last time I asked for one simple thing? Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, 'cause we all need some time. Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, 'cause we all need some time. Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, 'cause everything is in line. Won't you lay us down, Hashki Venu, so I don't lose my mind. Won't you comfort me? Can't you see it's what I need, so I can fall? Is it too much? When's the last time I asked for one simple thing?
Wow, that's fantastic. Great song. I love your lyrics. You do all your own lyrics?
Some I do by myself, and some I co-write with Glenn.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this one was
Yes.
It was mostly good. I call him my lyrics doctor. Like
Your lyrics.
I
He
often will
fixes
do
things
like
up for you.
yeah, I'll often do like a verse, and he'll be like, "That's easy. You took the easy road. Come on,
Right.
get back in there." You know.
I love it. I love it. He does. It's great. Yeah, Susie's watching. I did it right, Leah. So, Naomi, we're gonna
I can't believe
wrap
you're
up.
watching this from your phone, Susan. This is sort of hilarious. Do you have
It is-
Facebook on also on your computer?
Right, of course. But she's my side act. You know, she's like,
She's your sidekick.
yeah, she's my side act. Do you have a question, Susie?
I want her to sing Shine.
Okay, I'll
Hi.
have her do. Okay, maybe she'll end with Shine.
Yeah,
Will
that's
you
a
end?
perfect ending song. Good call.
Perfect. Before Shine, a couple more questions for you. First of all, um, what was one of your most exciting moments so far in your musical career? Is there
There,
like,
I mean, literally, no doubt, I will tell you, it was like one of the most exciting things ever for me. And you'll obviously get why, which is Beth Schaefer asked me to participate in the 100-year centennial of Women of Reform Judaism.
oh wow.
And she was producing I guess it was the Saturday night of biennial that year. And she wrote a song, Limdu Heitav, for this thing, and I got to. I mean, I've never sung on a stage that big. That was like
Wasn't that incredible?
it was insane, but it wasn't even about that. It was that I was singing up there with Beth and with my friend Michelle Citron and my friend Alondra Go to
And
K.
probably Julie Silver,
Silver. Yep.
right?
Jerry. I mean, these are like, heroes and mentors and, like friends of mine, but like on more of a mentor friend of mine. And that we were up there on this historic moment representing women. First time ever that a Saturday night, which I think is a Shonda, by the way, first time
Yeah.
ever that a Saturday night had been any big night had been produced by a woman. But Beth having her moment to like just like grab hold of those reins and design that whole event, and it was just I felt very like wow, like what a moment in time, what a historic moment, and like I feel so honored. I could not believe I felt so honored to be there.
Oh, how wonderful.
Third.
It's good when you have those moments. You know, when I first graduated
Yours.
when I first graduated cantorial school, I was very pregnant with twins.
Is there I kind of feel like that's an either you are or aren't.
You can be very pregnant when you're carrying twins. My stomach came in the room about 5 minutes before me. I mean, where's Rochelle? Oh, she's back there. That's just her stomach.
Your sidekick is cracking up.
Yeah, because
There.
Susie was there, and sometimes she was pregnant when I was pregnant, and except she was, let's go to lunch, and I'm sitting there over lunch like, ugh, I want to.
Oh God.
I was so
Oh.
sick, and Susie, are you nauseous? No, I'm fine. Susie, can you support your air? Yeah, everything's good. I'm dying. I was just waddling around like a truck. I look like a turtle. But anyway, and by the way, those babies were very hard. I called them my angel babies. It took me a very long time to have those beautiful girls. And I did go through lots of infertility. So I'm right there with you. We just kind of parallel each other all the way along.
I know.
It's amazing.
Well, I learn about you.
I know. So I got Leah and Rebecca from infertility. I got my two babies at once, one set of stretch marks. But my other question to you is,
Wait. So you never told me what was your was that the moment you were saying
Yes, sorry. That's my ADD kicking in. So I'm super pregnant. I'm super nauseous. I'm sucking down Tums all day long, plus this nausea medicine. I forgot what they used to give you or they probably still do for nausea. And I get invited to be the cantor for the biennial. And I remember, I was miserable, and I got through it, and I looked good, and then it took me the rest of the weekend to recover. I was so pregnant.
oh my God. I
And
can't
so
believe
miserable.
that.
And I, by the way, I felt so pregnant at 3 months. I mean, I just blew up like a blowfish.
Well, I was not that massive until sort of towards the end, but I have to say I came down there to do a concert and Susan was there, and it was one of the times I was pregnant. It didn't come to fruition, but I was so excited to tell Susan. She came backstage. I was like,
Oh.
I have to tell you a secret. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Well, I think I took a long time with artificial inseminations. It didn't work. And finally, with in vitro and gift, I had two things done at the same time. I was blessed with these two incredibly gorgeous girls. I remember when I went to have the sonogram, because I was 35 and I was considered a high risk pregnancy.
Yep.
And so they were able to tell me if I had girls or boys, and I had this fear that I was going to have two boys. Even worse, they would have been like their father, which would have really been a nightmare. Instead,
Well,
the doctor said, "You've got two little girls in there." Oh my God, did I melt?
oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
did I melt?
That's awesome.
Beautiful times, beautiful. There's more to the story, but I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
so, anyways,
You know what
okay,
all Facebook what? I'm reading the comments here.
yeah. How could she? Why did she?
Oh, wait, hold on. I have a comment here on the Temple Beth Am page that says from an old friend of mine, Lee Gundersheimer. He says, "That's my childhood temple. Say hello."
Aw. Hi,
Lee
Lee.
Gundersheimer says hello
Mwah,
to
mwah, mwah.
Temple Beth Am.
Temple Beth, it's such a
And
big
does you know Jesse Bookman?
Yeah.
Ezra. He
Yeah,
goes as
Ezra worked
Ezra.
at Lapshul. He was at Lapshul for a long time.
Yeah, Susan, Naomi said that he has started his own program, which is what?
He has his own boutique consulting agency called The Ritualist. He does
Incredible.
ritual design for all different kinds of places. So it's very
Incredible. Good for him. That's
yeah,
wonderful.
it's awesome. He's spreading his wings.
He's spreading his wings. Okay, so before you spread your wings and shine, just tell me what has COVID, what has changed for you besides all the traveling? What would you say is something that you've actually gained from COVID? Because we can all talk about what we have lost.
You know what? It's not anything I tangibly can touch. It is 100%. I mean, it's this. Can you read that?
What does not destroy me makes me strong.
I got this mid fertility journey, but this is it. I realized I'm really good in a crisis. I realized I don't think Susan's on anymore, by the way.
Susie, are you there? Up. I'll call her back. Keep going.
Okay, so what I realize is like I'm really good in a crisis. So like my dad dying through all of this and like everything, I'm a very good like working in the span of like trying to figure things out and in a very stressful time. And I really actually you're back. And I found out that I have like reserves of strength I never knew I had. Like
There you go.
truly, I was able to, I felt, I'm going to be completely honest here because I think
Yes.
it's really important for people to hear this. I felt
Yes.
when the pandemic hit, and I was one of the early COVID cases. I actually shared it on Facebook just to let
Wow.
people know, like this is like I'm a regular person and I have it too, and like it's it's scary, but it's not, and so all that sort of stuff. So, what happened was after everything kind of collapsed and there was no school for my daughter and I had to work and I like didn't know it, and we talked about this before the show started. I ended up like I watched as my friends who are full-time musicians, like who are independent music contractors, like they're not working like I am at LabSchul, right?
Right.
I watched them transform their lives online. I watched them recreate themselves online. And I sat there watching this, knowing that I had absolutely no capacity to do that for myself right now, that I had to actually stop, that this might be an off ramp for me. I don't know. It's unknown. Like I'm watching people recreate themselves and get gigs here and there and do all these great things and create programs online, and I just could not do it. And I couldn't. I had no space, no capacity to do this. And I said, you know what? I just sort of tried to make peace with it. I really try to live by that mantra, like happy is the person who's content with their lot, like really from Pirkei Avot, from the Ethics of
Yes.
Masters. And I literally, that was my mantra. Like every day I was like breathing it in, breathing it in. And then I sort of got onto a call with a bunch of my female Jewish music friends, and it's just like having a glass of wine with them, honestly, just like, oh my God, I'm like, is everyone surviving? Whatever, what are we doing? And I got off them, I was so energized being with them that I texted them afterwards. And I was like, I thought of an idea that I could do with the limited capacity I have, but it would take everybody's involvement. which was this Omer initiative, counting the Omer and doing this double entendre of sisters count, meaning women count, and
Yes.
sisters count the Omer, and to amplify all of these people's voices. And so I started with a group of like 5, and then people just started coming to me and saying, I want to do this. And it was just an Instagram campaign, 45 seconds of just a little bissel of Torah for that day in the context, in the form of a song. And we ended up writing a song out of this and became this whole collaborative project.
Oh,
And
wow.
oh my God, like you can't, you don't have to give up completely. You just have to find the way that you can work during this pandemic that
Yes.
is not going to completely, like, it's got to fit within a framework of the time that you have.
Yes.
And
It's
and
wonderful.
that's what I was able to do. So I feel like coming out of this pandemic, I am appreciative that I did stop. I did kind of retrack and retrench. I found some reserves of strength, and I'm like, trying to do it, like trying to move
You're
forward
doing it.
in my life.
You're doing it. And we,
To sing at my house and then had to cancel.
I know. I was supposed to be down there. I was supposed to do a concert at Susan's.
oh, Susie, you lost a lot of good concerts.
I did. But we're going to do them virtually, Naomi. Hang on, I'm going to call you.
Really? Okay. Sounds fun.
Okay. I love it.
After the
Virtual
holidays.
concerts. Who knew?
After the holidays, which is only a few days.
Oh my
So
God.
so beautiful, Naomi. Would you do one more beautiful song for us? I think Susan asked for "Shine."
Shine. Yeah. So Rochelle, this is a song that was commissioned by URJ Crane Lake Camp when they were building their new dining hall.
Uh-huh.
And they wanted a Friday night. They wanted to commemorate it with this big commemoration with a new blessing for Friday nights for the children, for the campers. And they all put their arms around each other. Everybody is somebody's kid. So, it was beautiful. And we actually, Glenn and I went to camp. We interviewed all the faculty, bunch of staff, bunch of campers, and got them to give us their interpretation of what Yivarechecha, the priestly blessing, actually means to them. What are they really asking for when they're doing this? And based on all those words and everything that we talked to them, this song came out.
Great.
May you be like our ancient brothers and live with peace and kindness. May you be like our ancient mothers, live bravely and be strong, just like Cantor Nelson. May you be most importantly like you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yivarechecha, shine through you, Yivarechecha, keep safe and true, and help you to feel whole. And the kids at camp go whole like this, and they make a hole above their head. Yivarechecha, shine through you, Yivarechecha, keep safe and true, v'yasem lecha shalom. Shine, shine through you, shine, shine through you, shine through you. Shine, shine through you, shine, shine through you, shine through you. Everybody shine, shine through you, shine through you, shine through you. Oh, shine through you, shine through you, shine through you. Yivarechecha, shine through you, Yivarechecha, keep safe and true, and help you to feel whole. Yivarechecha, shine through you, Yivarechecha, keep safe and true, v'yasem lecha shalom. V'yasem lecha shalom. V'yasem lecha shalom. Shalom.
Oh, wow. Great closer. Beautiful piece. You picked a good one, Susie.
I wanna send a shout out. Actually, my dear friend from across the Atlantic, Adam Overlander K, is watching right now. So I want to give a big kiss to him and his whole family
Hi,
in
Adam.
London.
That's fantastic. Well, we could always use more of less, but was that? I know you've probably heard that 100 times.
It kind of never gets old. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, I know. It's not easy having the last name less when you have so much more to give.
Oh, thank you, Rochelle. That's so
You are
sweet.
wonderful. You're wonderful. Your spirit, your honesty, your goodness. You bring a little light into this crazy, crazy world. And I just pray every day that I don't know what to say anymore.
Go get that baby.
Oh, she wants
I
to.
don't know if she's awake. I will grab her. Let me
All right, we'll see if she's awake.
Tell her I'm on the phone.
Does she know you really well, Susie?
We've met a few times, but
in the bath. She's taking a bath.
Oh, she's taking a bath. Okay, never mind.
I'm not going to bring you all in there, all Facebook.
No. She'll never forgive you for that one.
That's the bat mitzvah. That's bat mitzvah montage.
Exactly.
Remember
Oh,
when your mom put you on Facebook when you were in the bathtub?
oh, everybody's got our kids in their nudity. And then we tell them when they're older, pull your pants up.
Well, Rochelle, I just want to thank you, first of all, for having me on and for doing this show. It's so fun to just connect. This is like real. This is what we have to do in this time. And I just want to wish you a Shana Tova.
And to you too.
And a good luck. As I say, finish well, Gamar Tov. Finish well in the end, and really, I know it's a meaningful and bittersweet time for you, and so I'm just wishing you so much love as you go on this journey. And
Thank you.
I'm with you. I'm with you right alongside you.
I'm going to take God with me. So I'm figuring somehow we're going to end up on a new and incredible new road. And because you don't say no a lot, I'm going to probably be calling you for advice along the way.
I'm here. You got my cell.
You got it. I love you. Susie?
Hi, Sus. Shana Tova.
Andrea Levine, wherever you are, we thank you so much. Are you there,
Andrea?
I'm here. Shana Tova. Finish well.
Shana Tova, thank you so much.